A group of people started walking down the hallway, and at that time I recognized them. I knew who they were. Actually, several of them were my teammates on the football team. So I wasn't concerned about it at all. I didn't think anything of it. And as they were walking past me, as you know, most guys do, we joke around, call each other names, he might call you out or something like that, just play around. But at some point far, I think it crossed the line and it offended me, and I let them know that.
This is the beginning of a story about Ryan, his family, and about the young men whose blows sent him to the hospital. But this is also a story about accountability and healing, about compassion and courage, and a commitment by the Lansing School District to create more peaceful learning environments. This is a story of restorative justice.
Restorative justice has been a process that has come to us to help our students and our staff look at discipline in a little bit different way, especially when we're dealing with our most severe cases. Sometimes there's a natural assumption that an outcome for a severe discipline case is automatically going to be one way and one way only. What restorative justice does is gives us an opportunity to look even at the most severe discipline and decide, is there an alternative that allows us to look at the harm that has been done, still maintain responsibility for the actions that have been taken, but come up with a solution that allows a student to still maintain some dignity, the person who has been affected to feel like they have been heard, and to come up with a solution that doesn't always center just on putting a child out of school.
We went through the meeting, and it was one of the most powerful meetings I've ever sat through, because of course your child come home and tell their side of the story, and the other students go home and tell their parents the side of the story, and everybody's there protecting their own child, which rightly what they should do. But to see the impact of when all of the stories come together, and to see the parents realize what had happened, it was so touching. There wasn't a dry eye in the room. Everybody was just so impacted because, of course, those parents had not received the story that we had. They had no idea that Ryan had to go to the hospital, and it was, they don't even think they knew that there had been physical contact.
Drama students from Sexton High School provide us with a dramatization of what happens in a restorative justice process. Emotions can run high, but the facilitator works through the structured process to make sure an atmosphere of respect is maintained. The process is designed to get participants to think through three main points. The first is to gain a common understanding of the incident that brought them to the circle. This starts with the question, what happened? Next, the facilitator asks questions to help everyone understand who was affected by the incident and how they were affected. In the third and final part of the process, the facilitator helps the group make decisions about what needs to be done to heal the harm.
What I think is so powerful about restorative justice and restorative conferencing is that it addresses the real problem in such a non-threatening way. It gives the community, it gives the parent, the child, the teacher, whoever's been offended, a victim, possibly another student, an opportunity to be real and to be honest and to get to the core of what the issue is. Suspension isn't an answer. It's a consequence. Where restorative justice and restorative conferencing gets to the real answers of why an infraction occurred and what impact it had on our community.
Your word is your bond, but we also signed a letter, saying that, we accept this as a mediation, and we will abide by the guidelines that were set forth in the meeting. And to me, that spoke volumes as well, where everybody signed the form, parents and students, and that sort of sealed the deal, so to speak.
For Ryan and his teammates, this conference provided a way to restore their relationship, to literally allow them to play on the same team.
We ended up playing our first varsity season together as teammates. We all ended up being starters. And so we ended up having to play on the field and become a team, and your one goal is to win. And so you can't have other things on that, or else that takes away from the goal, what you're trying to achieve on the football field. So After the whole incident, after the meeting and everything, they're allowed back in school.
Ryan's story shows the power of restorative justice. And while restorative justice is not perfect for every conflict, most restorative justice sessions do end in a renewed sense of empathy, mutual respect, and understanding. Most of all, restorative justice offers the promise of healing and hope.
And I think the best thing out of that was, one, they're allowed to be able to go back to school and life could go back to normal. Because even if that happened, if they went back in school, there'll still be, because it's not the same. And when normalcy is what the biggest healing is.